Rick Farnelli, County Supervisor, District 3. This is another edition from the desk of Rick Farnelli. Today I have with me Chief Dupree from the Probation Office, and I'd like to ask Rick a few questions. First, I'd like to ask Rick, what is probation department, what is all involved in the probation department? And I know you work with several departments, and everything seems to get dumped on you, or the probation basically sorts everything out and then gets it corrected, and then everything headed in the right direction. So, Rick?
Well, the probation department has three main functions. One is that they investigate criminal matters for the court, make recommendations to the court in those criminal matters. Two, those offenders that are placed on probation are supervised by probation officers. And three, is we operate the juvenile hall, which is the custodial facility that holds juvenile courts. So typically those are the three main functions. Now obviously there's a lot of sub-functions under those different units. And but as you said previously, we do work with every department, every agency in this county, because the criminal justice system is obviously huge, and its impact on society is huge, and it has an impact on every department. So we typically collaborate with every department, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's social services, whether it's public health, whether it's the schools, CBOs such as Big Brothers Big Sisters, the jail, police, sheriff. We typically have our hands in everybody else's department in one way or another, and that's not in a bad way. That's obviously in a good way. I've always joked with people, if the legislatures or the people that are in charge don't know what to do with a certain job or function, typically probation ends up with it. We're the catch-all for things that don't actually get pigeonholed into a certain department.
And I tell you, I really appreciate. We have a truancy problem here in Madera. I'll say county and city through some of our school systems, and I really appreciate the action that you and Chris have taken on. Chris Childers have taken on in getting involved with our truancy. Can you explain a little bit how that program's coming on?
Yeah, well, it's in development. Chris is really close. In fact, we just hired an officer today. Well, he starts on Monday. He's not going to operate that program. He's going to take the place of the staff person that will be operating that program. But it's a program that has been sorely missed for years. When the budget cuts happened in 2000, we had a great truancy program before 2009. Once 2009 hit, that was obviously one of the things that got axed. You had to take care of basic core services. But what this program does, it puts the probation officer directly in touch with the truants, and gets the officer acts as a liaison between the truant and the school, the truant and other social services, to get them and the family connected with these services. So that way we're not doing all the work, because typically the truancy is not the cause of the problem. It's just a result of problems that are going on in the household. And so that's the thing that we need to focus on, not necessarily the truancy, but what's causing the truancy. And some of these things can be easily cured through the social services and the other programs that the county operates, or the state, the feds, whoever. And that's what our goal is, to get these truants and these families of the truants connected with these services to hopefully eliminate truancy and the reasons behind the truancy.
Well, I'll tell you, with this program, you're working close with Madera Unified School Districts, and I think Ed Gonzalez, the new superintendent, is working very diligently on trying to get his $600,000 back on truancy cases. But the whole idea of truancy is keep the kids in school and not on the streets, and I really appreciate your work on that.
Oh, no problem. Even though that $600,000 doesn't impact probation, studies have shown that 80% of the people that end up in state prison did not graduate from high school. So if we can eliminate truancy at that level, at the lowest level, it'll pay us dividends in the future.
And help the taxpayer.
And help the taxpayer, yes.
Let's switch gears, and thank you for all that information. I think the public would like to hear all that stuff. Our new Proposition 47.
Yes.
The voters have spoken.
Yes, they
I
have.
don't know why they spoke in the way they did, because I think they really don't understand what the savings of $150 million to the state is going to cost each county in California. And can you just, I know it's new and it just, we really haven't looked at it deeply, but I know you've already started looking at it. So could you update us on what you feel that this is going to cost the county?
Yeah. Well, I'll speak quickly or briefly on what Prop 47 is going to do to the criminal justice system as far as what changes are going to take place or that are taking place currently. And what it does, it reduces many felony crimes to misdemeanors. So those people that are going to commit those crimes going forward are now going to be charged with a misdemeanor instead of a felony. It also allows felons who were previously convicted of those crimes to petition the court to have those crimes reduced to a misdemeanor, whether they're currently serving that sentence or they've served that sentence and are no longer under the jurisdiction of the criminal justice system. They'll all be allowed to petition the courts for reductions or for a reduction from a felony to a misdemeanor.
Do we have any idea at all how many people will be set free that were actually a felon and now they will be classified as a misdemeanor?
Yeah, I received a number from CDCR, and it gave the number 31. Now, it didn't have a lot of details, and so I don't know if those are 31 that are currently in state prison. That's kind of my guess, is there's 31 felons in state prison that are eligible for reduction to a misdemeanor.
Well, that doesn't seem like very many.
No, it's not that many because since realignment, a majority of those offenders aren't going to state prison. Before, it would have been a huge number. It would have been 500 people probably. But since realignment's now 3 years old, most of those offenders don't go to state prison. They're being handled locally with the jail, probation, things of that nature. So that's where the major impact's going to occur, is at that level.
Well, I tell you, I can't wait until we get all together, Manuel Perez and the two chiefs of our cities and you and the new sheriff and our new DA get together and try to figure out, and CAO, Eric Fleming, get together and try to figure out the impact to Madera and the community. Felony, classify so people know really what degree of felony are we talking about, or burglary, so much money or something. I don't know how it's classified.
The two types of crimes that are being impacted by this, it's either drug possession or theft, and typically the theft crimes that we see are related to the drugs, the drug offender, and that's why they commit these crimes. And a lot of these commercial burglaries that used to be felonies are now going to be misdemeanors. The level used to be $450, now it's $950 on certain crimes. Insufficient checks, when people used to write bad checks, to get money to buy drugs, now that is going to be a misdemeanor. Possession of marijuana, methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, that's a misdemeanor. And so the unfortunate side of all that is the voters were really, really misled by the title of Prop 47, because everything that it stands to do with reducing or dismissing these felony convictions, we already had that in place. That was already being done by the criminal justice system. The judges had the discretion, if the offender completed treatment programs and did what they were needed to do to satisfy the criminal justice system requirements, they were able to have these crimes either reduced to a misdemeanor or completely dismissed off their record. And now what we've did is we've taken the discretion completely out of the court's hands to deal with these people effectively. So now these people, these offenders, are no longer going to have the motivation, in my opinion, that they had previously to change their behavior. When you have 3 years of prison or jail sitting over your head, it's a motivating factor, because a lot of these people, until they've hit complete rock bottom, they're not looking for a change in their lifestyle. They're going to continue to operate under that lifestyle. The way we were able to get them to change is by having that hammer over their head. That we would get them into these programs, and then they would start to see where their life was going, what they were doing wrong. They were able to change their behavior. Not all cases, but most cases, we were very successful. Now we're not going to have the hammer, so to speak, to motivate these people to change their behavior. In fact, many of our people, drug offenders, we would put them in inpatient program. We can't even put them into an inpatient program anymore because they won't have the custodial time to do it unless they want to voluntarily do it. And most times, that doesn't typically happen with most offenders. I mean, you get your, few who do hit rock bottom and they are looking to change. But my fear is that this is going to have a huge impact on the criminal justice system, especially on frontline law enforcement, SOPD, because if people thought realignment was a revolving door, at least it was still, we were dealing with felonies and we had something to hold over them. Now we're talking misdemeanors, and the revolving door just started spinning a lot faster, in my opinion.
Well, I tell you, Rick, thanks a lot, and I hope the voters out there that voted for Position 47, which probably the same voters that tried to get rid of the 3 strikes you're out, the same voters that did all that. I'm hoping you're happy with the way this turned out, and it's too bad you really didn't understand what this was all about. Maybe we can get the 9-member board of the Supreme Court to overturn it in California. Yeah, good luck. So, thanks a lot, Rick.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you.